Welcome, everybody, to Till Death Do We Play, a podcast where marriage and video games are the perfect union. I am Andy. I am joined by my wife, Allie.
Hello.
And today we are talking Ubisoft Forward. We just got done watching the stream, so we have everything that got announced, and we're just going to go down the list and talk about it. Fair warning, though, it is Sunday afternoon. We usually record late at night when everyone is sleeping and off the street, so you might hear some traffic. So I'll do my best,
including our dogs.
Yeah, they're good. They're good babies. They mean well, but they might boof once in a while.
Yeah, we got our son in the hall right now, and we have the two daughters in by me, and they're just sniffing the door, trying to see each other.
Jack was in by me, but he doesn't know how to breathe through his nose, so that's like the only thing.
Most dogs don't.
Yeah, so I had to put him out.
Well, they pant at least. That's what I should say. Anyway.
Yeah, let's get right into it. All right, so Ubisoft Forward turned out to be one of a first in a series of Ubisoft Forward. We found out later on in the show, but we'll wait for that. They kicked it off by showing Watch Dogs Legion, which I had no interest in. What they showed in this conference probably piqued my interest more than anything else that they showed, and I might actually check this game out now. I wasn't a big fan of Watch Dogs 1. I never even played 2, just because I know that 2 improved a lot of things, but Watch Dogs 1 just couldn't hold my attention. Legions looks pretty interesting, though.
I would say, like, Watch Dogs, the first one, I think promised too much and delivered too little. Watch Dogs 2... It wasn't bad, but I couldn't get into it because it seemed like you were supposed to just be this mid-teen, or not mid-teen, mid-20s to early 20s guy who is trying to take care of things the vigilante way. But you shoot and you kill people, and as soon as that happens, I was like, whoa, dude, whoa, you need to chill out, man.
Well, the Green Arrow killed people in the first season of the show.
But it's like when you're playing as, I believe his name was Marcus, it really just felt like your attacks and the guns that you were building and everything should have just like stunned people or knocked them out. Mm-hmm. So when you're actually building like an AK-47 using a 3D printer and you legitimately kill someone, I don't know, it just felt very disconnected with the rest of the theme of the game, where it seemed like it was supposed to be so lighthearted and joyous.
Well, if death is the line that they draw between being a vigilante or not, then Watch Dogs Legion is not even in the same realm, because they just showed like old ladies killing people, everyone killing people. The whole draw of this game is you could recruit anybody, which is what I didn't know going into this. Is basically like in the previous Watch Dogs games, you could like hack anybody's phone and like see their information about them, which I thought was probably one of the most interesting things about the game. But now you could do that, and you could be like, oh, this person has this certain particular set of skills that might help me, so let's like pursue them and see if they could join our team in DedSec, and we could help, like we could utilize them and stuff. So that's what really got me. They showed off things like you could recruit a construction worker who has like a nail gun and a wrench, and actually you could
that was pretty cool.
Yeah, and you could actually recruit like someone from the enemy allegiance, which is Albion, it's called in this game. You could get an agent from Albion, and you could get access to like restricted areas, which I thought was really neat.
I think it's interesting too how now, rather than just having there be a company that is your pretty much sole focus, it looks like they're introducing a second one named Mary Kelly, the crime boss.
Yeah, I guess her whole thing is she's running an organs racket is what I got from it. It didn't seem like you could do the same thing you can with Albion, where you could like, you know, recruit people who are like close to them, but I'm sure you can. They probably just didn't show that off. I think you can. Absolutely, yeah. It seems like you could recruit everybody in this game. I mean, that's what they say.
Well, we'll see how true that is.
Yeah. They also showed some cool things off, like drone vehicles, which is, I believe it's another one of the abilities that the construction worker could call in this future that they have for this world. There's like cargo drones that you could call in, and I don't know if the cargo drone is different from what they showed, but in the short film that they launched the conference with, they showed a guy actually get on top of like a car-sized drone, and I could only imagine that you could use that to like fly around the city. Definitely not as realistic as the original Watch Dogs 1 was. Watch
Well,
Dogs 1 was more like futuristic hacker stuff, and this is kind of on a in a different universe.
Well, I was gonna say, even from like the last time they showed it, it seems like they've kind of switched gears. Before, they were still sticking to a more realistic setting where, I know for Watch Dogs 2, it was almost like, look how well we captured Los Angeles. And now with this one, it almost seems like they took a page out of Cyberpunk 2077. Maybe they didn't, but I got strong Cyberpunk 2077 vibes coming off of it.
Yeah, I could agree with that. It's like they did a little mini documentary about one of the level designers after they showed the actual game, and they said, you know what Ubisoft is famous for, like going to the location, making everything photo accurate and stuff. And they were saying that people who played it are like, oh, I actually feel like I'm there. But looking at the game, it seems like, yeah, I'm sure they captured London, but they kind of put like a paste of like a cyberpunk skin over it almost. And it's not to the extreme of what Cyberpunk's 2077 is, obviously, but like
Yeah.
it's definitely like a future tech world that does not exist today.
It's very much like a is dystopia the correct word for that?
I wouldn't call it a dystopia. We definitely see a dystopia later on in the conference, but it's kind of like almost like a police state, a futuristic
Well, here, wait.
tech police
What does
state.
dystopia mean again?
Dystopia is like Hunger Games world, like like things are just kind of like classes are broken down, and
I would
everyone's
almost say
kind of in
then
poverty and stuff.
it's probably the start of a dystopia then, with how
Yeah,
the company was
with
acting during
Albion,
the one
yeah,
scene.
he the guy who I believe his name was Nigel Cast. He definitely has plans to move in that direction. Like he wants everyone under his control and stuff like that, like some 1984 stuff.
Yeah, there's one scene during the conference actually where I guess the chief of police actually says like, "Hey, listen, you can't just do this. Give me a second. I need to make a call." And he says, and as soon as the guy turns around, he shoots him in the head, and he goes, "Oh no, a terrorist did it. How
Yeah,
tragic."
yeah.
It's like,
He's
okay.
definitely trying to take over things and control it how he sees fit. But yeah, that was the most anyone has seen of Watch Dogs Legion so far, other than its reveal at previous press conferences. I think the biggest thing in this game was beforehand was seeing that someone had a pig head and there was an old lady, and now they kind of explain more on that. So
I'm still really excited to play as the old lady.
yeah. And one thing that was pretty neat I noticed was they showed two of the same cutscene with different characters, and I don't know if this is what they were getting at, but like they showed like a young female, and she was like, "Oh, think more underground," and it didn't show what the guy said, but then it rewound and it showed an old lady, and she was like, "No, no, think more underground," and the guy was like, "Dead sec, yeah, right," like he didn't really believe her. So I feel like you might have to pick and choose who you want to do for specific missions to convince people or make things easier for yourself. So I hope they go in that direction. That seems like a pretty interesting mechanic for gameplay.
I think it would be pretty interesting to see, simply because 9 times out of 10 in a game, they say it's your choice. You have the freedom to do whatever. But then it's literally the exact same thing will happen no matter what option you actually pick, with maybe 1 or 2 lines of dialogue changed.
Yeah, before we wrap up Watch Dogs Legions, the other thing that I noticed that they just showed off more characters. Like they have like a brawler who seems like more of a main character. They actually gave him a name, Mickey. And they have like this hitman guy. He has a mask that kind of looks like Deathstroke, and he's like John Wick with guns, and there's like choreography and stuff. It's going to be interesting to see how different characters played differently. They also showed a guy with a paintball gun, which I'm pretty excited about.
Just, yeah, there was a hitman,
Yeah.
there's an old lady, there's a construction worker, and then there's this dude with a paintball gun.
Yeah, it was like one of the last shots of the trailer. It just showed a guy using a paintball gun. But yeah, do you have anything to add for Watch Dogs before we move on?
So, they were supposed to give out free games during the conference as long as you logged in, and let me tell you what, I spent literally the entire conference trying to log in because their servers kept crashing.
Oh, see, I set up my drops on the website because the only thing I know that they were giving away was like Watch Dogs 2, which I know we have a copy here, but if we got it on PC, that would just be easier for us to play.
That's
But
just it. I want it on my PC
yeah.
because it's also free. But yeah, apparently also it's gonna come in like tomorrow. But you had to make sure that you were logged into Twitch at least once for it. So I'm hoping it counted because yeah, I spent the entire time trying to log in. I was so sad.
All right, so moving on, we had a couple smaller announcements. Brawlhalla, Might and Magic, Elite Squad. So Brawlhalla, it's a fighting game. It's a free-to-play game. They showed that there's 40 million people playing it, and on PC and console, I could understand that. Now they're announcing that it's coming to iOS and Android. At first, I was like, wow, fighting games on phones, I just don't think that they match. One of the cool things that I saw in the trailer was custom controls that where people are actually setting their like sensitivity and their angles on the touchpad. So it might actually make using the game a little easier. But again, if I'm playing a fighting game, I want to have a controller in my hands. So there was really nothing too impressive about that. I mean, they're expanding their fan base. They're getting that free to play game out there.
I wasn't interested. It was literally 5 minutes long, and I don't think Ubisoft was even interested in
it. This segment after Watch Dogs was literally like just a couple advertisements. Like the next one, Might and Magic: Era of Chaos. I've never heard of this game. They didn't announce a single thing. It was basically like a minute-long commercial for it, just being like, "Hey, we also make this game, and you could play it now. It's just another phone game."
Look, this thing exists.
Yeah.
Are you gonna buy it? Because I don't know. I guess you should. We're not going to tell you much about it. For all you know, it could be just one of those monster or character collecting games like Raid, Shadow Legend.
And I'm sure it's free to play, but oh boy, I bet we got microtransactions.
Oh yeah, you know it's going to be one of those games where you have to pay in order to get any good characters. Or it'll be something where, hey, there's an event going on, you just have to log in 30 days in a row, and then you get this really cool character at the end, and usually it only takes, I think it's 2 weeks in order to form a habit. So, I mean, you know, they'll know what they're doing with it, but I think it's not going to be a big hit, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I believe it's already out. I think the expansion is this Era of Chaos thing. Again, I have no idea what this game is.
Oh, crap, it is?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Might and Magic is already out. Like, I think this whole segment was just them being like, hey, this exists, and now you can play this, but it's like, whatever. You know,
oh my god, I entirely missed it because I was trying to get Watch Dogs 2 for free on my PC.
Oh my god, we have it downstairs.
But not for the PC.
All right, Elite Squad, moving forward. This is another game. I'm not sure if they announced anything about it beforehand, but all we got was a trailer. It just seems like kind of like an arena shooter. It has a cartoony vibe. Like you mentioned, it kind of looks like Fortnite.
I got strong Fortnite
It definitely
vibes
doesn't. It's definitely not a battle royale because they have their battle royale. Ubisoft does that. They talked about later.
Wait, then
on.
what is it?
I think it's like a shooter like Overwatch or maybe Valorant or something like that. It might be like an arena shooter because Valorant is kind of like Siege. It's like a team-based shooter, which so Elite Squad might be more like an Overwatch where there's like different modes and stuff like that, and you respawn and things. But it just didn't look too appealing. They showed Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell as a playable character, and he's all cartoony and stuff, and not too much. It reminded me of a couple years ago they announced it was like the Mighty Quest for Epic Loot or something, and it was just this cartoony trailer of a game, and it turned out to just be some kind of like iOS game. But yeah, that was our third basically ad. I would consider that one an announcement just because they showed off some things and it looks like an actual game.
I still feel like with that Might and Magic, Era of Chaos, and then Brawlhalla, these were the ones where they were just like, what can we do to pad this conference? And they just slapped those in.
Is that like, if we don't talk about these, we're going to have 3 games for this conference. Like,
bam! There you go.
Yeah. Speaking of a little more padding, they rolled right into Rainbow Six Siege, which is coming up on its 5th year, I believe, if we're not already in its 5th year.
Yeah, what was that about?
It was just like a basic, it was literally like a 3-minute mini doc thing that was like, our fans are amazing, but you know what? It wasn't all that easy. And then they actually showed, which I got to give them respect for this. They showed like early bugs or like, like problems that they had in the game, like someone continually shooting a player and them not dying, or like actual lag spikes and stuff. And they were like, we're always working on making it better. Here's a montage of streamers playing our game and stuff. And they have 60 million players. I mean, Siege looks awesome. I think I played it when it was in a beta. It never appealed to me when it came out. I always kind of wanted to get back into it though, because I've been playing a lot of Search and Destroy and Call of Duty Modern Warfare, which is like, it looks very similar to Siege, where you like plant a bomb or something and someone else has to defuse it and you have to take out another team. There's no respawns. Something I could get behind. But yeah, 60 million player fan base seems to be going strong. They did promote a new DLC pack. It's like some kind of operation thing. Again, I don't know how their DLC works for that game. But
the highlight for me was when they showed the one streamer and he got like a kill or something, and then you had a little pop-up where it said, so and so is now hosting you with one viewer.
It said that? I didn't even realize it.
That was the one thing that I saw when
cute.
I looked over at it.
Hey, I've been hosted with one viewer before. I appreciate it.
I just thought it was
helps.
really cute.
Twitch.tv/beefalum. Please host me with one viewer.
I'll host you with no viewers. That's usually the number that I have. But I don't know. I enjoyed that. I did, because it was just cute seeing how you got these teeny tiny little streamers, or maybe someone who's just not having a good day. And
no, I mean, hey,
they're still supporting.
I could go host Ninja right now, and I'll say Beefalum posted you with one viewer.
I just think
he won't
out of
say
60
anything.
million people, if they wanted to show something, I just think it's ironic that was the one that they picked.
Yeah. But yeah, that was their little ad segment. Going on to the bigger games of the conference. Jesus, we're already like halfway done with this. It was very short. It was like a 45-minute, maybe an hour thing.
Hour.
Yeah, hour. And yeah, they talked about Hyperscape, which kind of came on the scene last week. It just got announced. It was like in closed beta. They gave a handful of streamers keys for it. I mean, I'm sure more than a handful, because it's a battle royale game.
So explain this to me real quick.
Yeah.
So what is it? Is it just a battle royale or what?
It's just a battle royale. What they tried doing here, everything about this game up until now was just one map, a battle royale, running through the motions. And what they tried doing here was introducing some lore and story to it, which we quickly found out isn't part of the game.
What was that whole point with the first 5 minutes?
It started with this nice looking trailer, and it was like, like, this is the dystopian future. They were like, we made some horrible choices, and in the year 2054 everyone needs an escape. So this company Prism, they're a VR corporation, they invented Hyperscape. So Hyperscape is the name of the game, but it's also the name of the VR headset, I believe, that people are wearing. And I guess you could go in and do a bunch of different things, but the only focus of this is Crown Rush, which is what they call their battle royale, and it takes place in a city called New Arcadia. But yeah, there was this trailer, and it showed this lady who is like in like a rundown kind of like apartment, not really rundown, but it just, everything looked really.
It's a dystopia. You can tell she's not one of the rich people.
It was like desaturated, and everything was really basic. You could tell that everything's kind of the same for everybody. But she puts on her headset, and she's in Crown Rush on Hyperscape, and it's so Ready Player One. It's crazy, because they're even like, if you do good in Crown Rush, people start to notice, and you become a celebrity. Do you want
people to notice you? I mean, do you really?
I mean, there's like celebrities in Ready Player One and stuff.
Yeah, I'm just saying, though, usually in a dystopia, if you get noticed, that's when your life starts going downhill after you make money, because then you're a target.
Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. But yeah, then they also had this thing where it was like, that's like the trailer started off with like, it looked like a hacker in the game. And in the real world, she was like, that's weird. What is that, a glitch in Hyperscape or something like? And they made it seem like there was like some kind of villainous agency or something like infiltrating the game, but it doesn't seem like anything is going to come from it, because at the core of it, it's just another battle royale game. And they had one of the developers come on, and he was trying to pitch it, and he was like, oh, we have hacks, which, that's what they're calling their abilities in this game. Apex Legends has abilities, which could very easily be considered hacks in Hyperscape. It's another battle royale.
He was just making a lot of noise.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. At the very end of it, it had a really, really cool premise at the very beginning.
Mm-hmm.
Also, they kept saying New Arcadia, but they spelled it Neo Arcadia. And I know Neo is really just new, but you still pronounce it Neo, I believe.
Oh, so I don't know. I mean, I'm a stupid.
Well,
I'm
the
a
guy
stupid
himself
American.
did it.
I'm a stupid American, and maybe
Well,
he said
I'm American too.
he said Neo. I said it. I thought he said new. I don't know.
He pronounced it as new, but yeah, it was Neo Arcadia.
Yeah.
And it was really interesting because it seemed like you play as this woman who is trying to figure out who's hacking. Maybe there's something going on behind the scenes with Prism. And then, nope, just like, there's hacks. Yeah. Apparently it's not that uncommon because it's like a thing that you can have for yourself, but also we're going to make it to where people can select what kind of hack they want, like low gravity and infinite ammo, and it's so unique and interesting.
It's really not. I watched a streamer play this game when it was in closed beta, and there's like a little overlay on Twitch that pops up when events start, and you have 3 options. They change, but like you get 3 random options like low gravity or infinite ammo or something else. You could like reveal where the streamer is to enemy teams and stuff, and you just click on it and it votes in the chat and it changes the game for like a minute. It's a gimmick.
I mean, I guess that's interesting, but what's going to happen for people who don't stream?
I mean, yeah, it's they touted this as a game that was built for streamers. So I really
so if you're not a streamer, don't bother.
Yeah, or streaming, yeah. No, I mean it doesn't change the game at all. It's not like a game changer thing, and you only take advantage of the voting in the time that you have. So say you're playing it and someone votes for infinite ammo, but you don't run into anybody, so it's kind of useless. But maybe if you're playing this and you're not streaming, maybe you just get a random event. So who really knows? I'm not too sure about that. It did get announced that it's going into open beta for PC. It was previously in closed beta, so that was pretty cool. So at least whoever wants to is going to be able to check the game out. I'm really not that interested in it.
And then they said it was just a battle royale, and then I immediately tanked in interest.
Oh, yeah. So,
they had such a cool story build up. That was really, really cool.
I was gonna say what they're doing is very similar to what Call of Duty does every season. Is they don't add any new story to it except for like a cutscene. So like in Call of Duty, spoilers, but like not really big spoilers, but one of the main characters dies in the main game of Call of Duty, but in season 3 they decide to bring him back. But they only bring him back in a cutscene that they showed when you first boot up the game when the season starts. And it kind of seems like that's what they're doing. They're going to put the story of the game in little cutscenes during every season, because they already announced that there's a battle pass, so there are going to be seasons to this game. So it seems like that's what they're going to be doing.
Well, now you made me hate it even more.
But the beta's out, and you get a new weapon, a new hack.
I don't care.
Yeah, pretty much.
I don't care at all.
But then our boy Phil Spencer from over on Xbox, he came in to save the day and announced that Watch Dogs Legion is going to have smart delivery. All right, guys, I'm Phil Spencer. I'll see you later. And
why didn't they announce that back when they were talking about Watch Dogs Legion?
I don't know, and I'm pretty sure it was just assumed because like Microsoft and Xbox, they're trying to get everything with smart delivery, whereas Sony with PlayStation 5, they're kind of like, it's up to the developer, whatever. But so I already assumed that was going to happen.
That's fair.
But I mean, it was pretty cool. I mean, hey, whatever. It's great. It kind of makes me think that Xbox Series X is going to launch a lot later than we expect. Not anywhere like, I feel like it's going to have like a December launch with all of these games being said to have smart delivery. Like, I feel like these games like Watch Dogs and AC Valhalla are going to come out, and they're going to want people to buy these games, but then also buy their console. So they're like, buy the game now, play it, and play it later when we release our console. But
Here's
that's
a quick
getting
question.
a little off topic. What?
Do we actually have a official price from Sony and from Microsoft as to the pricing yet?
No. I think Sony is waiting for Microsoft. Microsoft is July 23rd, so it's about 2 weeks from now. So I'm pretty sure that Xbox is going to be the first one to announce that their price, and we're probably going to get a price from Sony very quickly after that.
Because didn't Sony already do their conference? Like, that's what the actual announcement for the Sony PlayStation 5 was, and they didn't announce a price.
Yeah, that generated a bunch of great memes about the price and everything. But yeah, that was like the one thing everyone was waiting for.
I really think they're trying to see what the Xbox, crap, what is it called?
Series X?
Xbox Series, okay, yeah, Xbox Series X. Y'all need to work on your title something fierce.
Just call it the Xbox
I should not get tripped
4
like
or whatever.
that.
I don't know. I really think they should have took the iPad approach, where it was just like, this is the Xbox now.
Yeah, they just need to fix their titles because this is really confusing. Just literally name it Xbox One, Xbox 2, Xbox 3. Do it that way. It makes it so much easier to know what the hell it is you are marketing and the order.
Yeah, and it's like, this has been said before, but like parents at Christmas, they're going to be like, well, my son wants the new Xbox. And it's like, whoa, you want the Xbox Series X, the Xbox, and then it comes down to like if they do the same thing that PS5 did with a digital. You know how many kids are going to get a PS5 this Christmas with a bunch of games, and then they're going to open up the PS5 and it's going to be the digital edition because their parents just don't really understand?
I'd probably be one of those parents that would have messed up.
Why? We're going to be cool parents. We're going to be up on all the video game stuff.
Because, well, no, just watch. We're going to have a kid, and they're going to be interested in something, and we're going to have no idea what the heck they're talking about. And we're going to be like, oh, this one must be it, because it's a higher number. And we're going to give it to them, and they're going to just... We're going to ruin their Christmas, Andy.
If I'm confused about something, I'm not just going to settle my confusion by paying more money, Allie.
I will.
I'm going to do my research.
No, just give more money.
This must be what my spoiled brat wants because it's $100 more.
Hey, don't you call our future kid a spoiled brat.
Yeah, so...
But fix your naming conventions. Get a better marketing team, please. I'm already so confused.
Back to Ubisoft. And then after Phil Spencer, Philly Spence came on and left us, we saw our first gameplay of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. And... yeah, so I don't know. Mixed emotions on this. I loved Origins. I could not beat Odyssey. I couldn't even get into Odyssey just because it was too huge and intimidating for me. I just didn't have the time to see that whole map. And every Assassin's Creed game before Odyssey, I completed. I got the whole map. I did everything that was possible and everything like that. And Odyssey was it was like a giant to me.
I got to level 39, I believe, in Odyssey. I got a lot further in it than I did in Origins because I liked Cassandra. I thought she was fun. But then I remember I had done like every single side mission that really mattered when it comes down to it. Like all the ones that were close to me in level. I think I really only had like 3 at level 20 and maybe 2 in the teens when it came to level. And the very next main quest that I had to do to continue the story was at like level 43. And I had spent, I think, 3 or 4 hours getting from level 38 to 39. I was like, I'm done. I can't.
Yeah. It was just very ambitious, and they just tried to go too big with it, I think.
No,
hopefully...
it was those microtransactions. They were pushing hard for you to buy those 50% EXP boosts.
So in the last 2 years, a lot of stuff has happened with that. Game developers are actually going out of the way to promise that there's going to be no microtransactions. We both of us can't speak today. We're like stumbling over our words.
This is my life on average.
And but I don't think they've done that for Valhalla yet. I really hope that that's the case, and it just goes back to gameplay. But yeah, I don't know. I still want to check it out because I really like the era of the game, and it seems like it's going to be, fun. If I'm able to get into it, I'll definitely have some fun with it. But they showed raiding, which is super interesting. Like you could just be on a ship in the sea and spot a village, go up to village, blow your little horn that they said, and then all of your Viking buddies come and you could like. They showed like shooting fire arrows at a hut, and the actual hut starts to burn, and then
I want to burn down villages.
Yeah, eventually later on in the raid, like the entire village is burning, and you guys could just take what you want and bring those resources back to your settlements, and
I'm excited for that.
Build your own settlement from that. That part really interests me because I think it was in like Assassin's Creed 2 and Brotherhood. Ezio, I can't remember which one it was, but Ezio was basically able to buy like all of Rome or wherever that game took place, and he was able to like upgrade things, and it allowed for him to generate income. And anything like that in a game where you're able to like upgrade and progress like that and kind of have like a separate little thing work for you while you're doing your own thing. I love that. So I'm really interested in like actually building the settlements and stuff. So that'll be pretty cool.
I'm interested in building the settlement, but I'm really excited about destroying other people's settlements.
You like violence.
Come with me, my Viking brethren. Let us burn to the ground their land.
Are you gonna be boy or girl?
Girl.
Girl? Yeah. So I was Cassandra when I started Odyssey, but for some reason, just watching this game, like the male Eivor, like kind of resonates with me a little more. I don't know.
I just want to switch her hair.
Maybe it's I think Vikings are like more masculine than Greek.
It's kind of funny though because Viking women actually held more power in Viking society.
I loved,
they were actually the ones that
Hellblade.
old land.
That's
nice.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
I was talking.
I know you were. I got excited.
Yeah. The women were in charge of the money because men were irresponsible.
Huh. Well, luckily that's changed.
As they still are.
No, I said luckily that's changed as time went on.
Yeah, I don't think that's true.
I didn't, I don't know. I'm just looking around my office to see the dumbest and most expensive thing that I bought. Anyways.
But yeah, Senua was a very good game.
Yeah.
You may say that now so I don't seem like a bitch.
Hellblade was good. Anyways. Then they started showing off enemies. They didn't go too deep in enemies. They just show that there's it basically looks like there's 4 variants of enemies. There's like one that kind of like attacks in a pack, and the other one that they showed is a super thick boy who's like 3 the size of you. He kind of looks like something out of Sekiro.
Chunky man.
Yeah, and he actually throws like dead bodies at you and stuff. And the weapon, the weapons, what?
I don't know why, but the idea of someone just being like, just tossing like the useless Carl of your group.
That's
like
what?
Carl's the guy that just dies, and next thing you know, he just starts swinging Carl's useless body. And I'm just picturing Ivor saying, God, Carl, you were useless in life, and now you're finally useful in death, but you're used against me.
Well, like, that's the whole thing. The body's useless. The guy's finding a use for it. He's throwing it
Let
at you.
the bodies hit the floor.
Okay.
He smashes Carl's lifeless corpse on top of you.
I don't think there was a Viking named Carl.
How many Vikings do you know, Andy?
Maybe it was like Carlvor or something.
Andy, answer the question. How many Vikings do you know?
I bet at least one person I know could be traced back to a Viking. They were all named
I'm going to say
they were all
right
named
now.
like Ragnar and stuff.
Ragnar?
Yeah.
Ragnar the Red? You're confusing Skyrim with Vikings.
Oh my god. Okay. Let's
honestly, though, you're probably right.
I
Ragnar
want to talk.
probably
I want to talk about dual wielding shields. You could dual wield any weapon in this game, any weapon, and then they were like, yeah, and they were like, or just 2 shields, and it was just like a dang double Captain America running around hitting people.
Gonna be a shield maiden.
They have this crazy harpoon. It showed Ivor. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that, but they showed it like him throw it into somebody and pull him in, and like slice his head off. They have throwing axes. Then they were like, and let's talk about stealth. And it was like the same thing we've always seen. It's like, you don't want to be seen? act like you're talking to someone on a bench. And it was just like the same thing we've seen since Assassin's Creed 2.
Now, Andy, you know the true way to be stealthy is you don't want to be seen? Just put a hood on your head. For some reason,
and
everyone thinks you don't exist.
And just play chess. That's how you get past it.
I like the one part. Go on.
Well, no, I was gonna probably.
My point is no longer valid.
Oh my god, the Canterbury is in this, and I don't know when the Canterbury Tales took place, but maybe they'll have the guy who wrote it. That's my ignorant comment of the week. I don't even have the the resource in front of me to see if the timelines match up, but
I liked how Ivor, when they were sneaking around, just at one point they're just glooping dough in their hands, like their gloved hands, and then pouring water. And I'm just picturing the more than likely the woman that's just coming back out from her house and is just going like, "The hell you doing handling my bread? That's like bread.
Shut up, they'll see me."
Just go with the flow, just like mashing it in with their gloves that are covered in blood and human bits. She's just like, "I can't eat this bread now."
Ew. What is that, a chunk
exactly. She spent, do you know how long it takes to make bread back then? That's at least a week-long process ruined because Ivor needed to blend in.
Look at all those open cuts on your hands. Why are you kneading my bread?
Shh, this gives it flavor. What are you going on about?
I will be back later to raid and pillage. Okay. Anyways.
Let me know when that bread rises.
Yeah.
I'll be back for you.
They tease some side activities like fishing and hunting, which I'm always for. Been big into hunting ever since Assassin's Creed 3. Not a hunter in real life, Allie. Couldn't hurt a fly. Actually, no, F flies. I hate flies, but I couldn't hurt an actual animal. But yeah, that seems like fun activities. They have temples and ruins that you could go. They look like they're little puzzle segments to get some increase in your skills, and they did mention that those will be brought back. Like, you'll get more resources for your settlements. Maybe not so much resources, because like that obviously comes from the raiding aspect, but they did mention that completing temples and acquiring runes helps your settlements, so maybe you have some kind of like perk or something that just gets added to it. I don't know. I'm really pumped about the settlements. Really cool. It's really exciting.
Yeah.
And we got a release date for November 17th, but before that, they showed a quick little montage of different fights, and they said that there's definitely going to be some mythical elements to it. And they showed a fight where like lightning was being thrown, so it's definitely not a fully historically accurate Assassin's Creed. There's definitely going to be
none of them have been historically accurate.
Well, you know what? Like, I mean, as far as like the apple, the pieces of Eden and stuff like that go, yeah, but I mean, it's not like they had you fight like Roman mythological monsters in Assassin's Creed 2 or anything like that. I'm not sure how
they did in Odyssey.
They did, yeah. Wasn't it like a Minotaur or something?
I think there's the Minotaur, Medusa, an ogre, Cyclops. Cyclops was the other one.
That's crazy, man. They did that in Origins, but I believe it was like on some kind of like dream sequence or something, or it was like on a vision or something weird. They had you fight like a big pharaoh or something. I don't know.
They made you fight Anubis.
Anubis. That's what it was. Yeah.
I think there's also a part with the lioness that I remember. I don't remember what her name was, but she had a lioness head, and I was like, ooh.
Yeah. November 17th. And you know what? I'm not fully pumped on it, just because I was a little let down by Odyssey. But I'm definitely going to check it out, and I'm going to try to get into it. So I'm excited.
Well, I'm excited for it because they said it's going to be, smaller than Odyssey was. And I think Odyssey did have, Odyssey had a huge issue where it was big, but there wasn't much to it. Well, let me rephrase that. It took a long time to get from point A to point B, and there was stuff in between those 2 points, but there wasn't anything that really made me want to go off the beaten path.
Yeah, I agree with that. There was a lot of open areas in the game, and just didn't do it for me, you know. Yeah. But hopefully Valhalla is a little different. So before we get into the final announcement of Ubisoft Forward, the big guy, I already forget his name, but you see him in all the conferences. It was like, I can't.
That guy.
Yeah, that guy that you always see came on, and he announced that this is only the first Ubisoft Forward. We're gonna do another one. So it seems like, I don't know if it's gonna be like a Nintendo Direct type of thing where they're just gonna drop them, or they're gonna expand their, they're just gonna stretch out their announcements throughout the summer or something like that. They didn't announce a release date for the next Ubisoft Forward, but another one's coming. So whatever. And then he was like, there's more to show, and we already knew it was coming because it got leaked last week, and then they made an official announcement. But they showed a teaser trailer and then a longer trailer for Far Cry 6.
The other thing for why Ubisoft Forward, honestly, it makes sense for them to just keep doing it. I won't lie, I'm not sure E3 is going to ever really be able to fully recover from the whole COVID-19, everybody doing their own thing. The reason why I say that is the one thing that all these companies can do when they're the ones that are hosting it is they have full control over it. There's nobody that you need to pay or nobody that you need to get approval from or make sure that they're doing things right on their end. It's completely controlled by them.
Yeah, in my opinion, this was the best Ubisoft conference in years, because before this, they would just get a celebrity who didn't know what they were talking about, and they would dedicate 20 minutes to Just Dance, and they would bring out Usher and stuff like that. And it's like, no, I just want to see the games. I want to see the games people care about. And that's exactly what they did here. So I think it was a really good conference. It was fully produced. Like you said, that they're not out there live on stage flubbing their words or flubbing gameplay. They recorded everything beforehand, so everything worked out perfectly. There's no hiccups or anything like that. But yeah, getting back to the final reveal of the show, Far Cry 6, it's starring Giancarlo Esposito from Breaking Bad.
I think you butchered his last name.
Esposito?
We're sorry.
Esposito?
I don't know why, but I just want to go, Esposito.
Well, Allie. Do you think Giancarlo would appreciate you making fun of his last name like that?
Who?
The guy, the Breaking Bad actor. He was
Despacito.
What was his name in Breaking Bad? It was like Gustavo. Yeah, it was Gustavo. He owned the chicken company.
Pollo.
Los Pollo Locos. Anyways, but yeah, I really I just want to make a quick note here. The teaser trailer, I really liked it as a video editor. They started with like a car doing donuts, and then it transitioned into the wheel of a car, and it transitioned into like a record player, like a record spinning on a turntable, and then into like a glass being poured. I thought that was pretty interesting. It definitely took some ingenuity and creative direction to come up with that. I thought that's all we were going to get, but then we got an extended trailer. It showed the main villain, who was played by Giancarlo Esposito. I don't know if they said his name yet. He basically just said he was the president of this state, and he's hated. The character who was shown in him, the younger, like the teenager who was in the promotional images, turns out to be his son. He's basically talking to his son, saying, like, I'm the president, so one day you're going to be the president. But before he does that, he walks in and just hands his son a freaking grenade and pulls the pin. And he's like, don't worry, nothing's going to happen until you let go.
So don't let go.
Yeah, so he like has him follow him holding a grenade, which is so Far Cry. Like, Far Cry's villains are just absolutely insane and like chaotic, and that I think that completely fits Far Cry. Yeah, they walk up to the top of their compound, and they see all these crazy protests going on outside. They have some prisoners down below who are being like shackled and stuff. They're standing directly above it, and he gives this whole spiel about how these guys are kind of the enemies. They want you to die and all this other stuff. And
they call you a monster.
Yeah. And he's like, so are you a monster? And he's like, no. And he's like, well, prove it. And which is really weird because he's kind of going to prove it by dropping a grenade on people. But so you could see that he's like corrupting this kid.
Yeah, his thing was basically saying, these people are making you out to be a monster. They're trying to say all this stuff about you.
Mm-hmm.
So that kind of makes them the monsters, doesn't it? Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So the kid says, uh-huh. And that's when he says, prove it.
He's like,
so
dang,
he
Dad.
wants him to say, do you understand what I am telling you?
Yeah.
Yeah, these are your enemies.
Yeah. I was just making my model car, and now you're having me dropping grenades on people. And
I will say, I might not be able to say the actor's name because I am trash. But he makes a wonderful villain.
Yeah, he does. He's kind of, and he was even a villain in The Mandalorian this past year. He's just kind of like, he just has that kind of like brooding, evil air to him.
He is the cold, calm, and calculating villain.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah,
suave.
you could see you could definitely see he has that kind of like villainous insanity like mindset that villains in Far Cry have, but he's probably going to approach things a lot differently than like what Voss and I can't even remember the guy from 4, the guy who Troy Baker played, where they kind of just blow stuff up. Like I think he's going to be more calculated, which is going to be interesting. But yeah, that was the end of the conference. We got a release date for Far Cry 6 too. That's February 18th, 2021. It's going to give me enough time to beat Far Cry 5, hopefully. I got like...
Far Cry 5 is good.
Yeah.
Far Cry 5 is honestly my favorite.
I honestly don't know why I stopped playing it. I think just something else came out and I just never went back to it. I had a really fun time with it. And we also have New Dawn here.
Far Cry 4's guy is Pagan.
Pagan, yeah, Pagan Min.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, out of the villains that I know, Voss, Pagan, Johnny Appleseed.
Yeah, I don't know what his name is.
That white dude from, what was it, Montana?
That hick. It was like...
No, he wasn't really a hick. He was honestly more like a hipster, to be honest.
Yeah, you're right.
With his little top bun.
Yeah. Yeah, he did have a man bun, didn't he?
They all have very different personalities. Like with Voss, he's straight up psychopathic insane, and he makes that abundantly clear. Pagan is flamboyant, crazy, but I also thought it was interesting how in the very beginning of the game, if you just sit there, he takes you exactly where you need to go and says, yeah, here you go. This is the whole story from my end. Anyway, bye.
Let's go shoot some guns. I think that's what they did. They were like...
Yeah. Well, no, they didn't even shoot guns. He was just literally just like, here, wait right here. Oh, okay, you're back. All right, here. I'm just going to take you over here. Yep, this is where you wanted to go. All right, that's it.
Yeah.
Have a good life. Yeah. And it kind of shows, like, as crazy as he is, he's like... He can pick when he wants to be crazy. He's crazy about specific things. Cult leader, oh my god, what's his name? He's a Seed. Joseph? I think his name's Joseph Seed.
Joseph Seed, yeah, let's see.
It's either Joseph or John. I know one of them is the leader and one's a brother.
Probably can't be... Yeah, it's Joseph Seed. Because John Seed would just be too easy for Johnny Appleseed.
Well, Joseph was weird. Joseph didn't make sense with his violence when you were, like, seeing him as a person. Because when he would talk, it seemed like, oh, you should be against violence. Oh, but you're clearly not because you're stabbing someone's eyes out. I don't understand where you're coming from. This one for Far Cry 6 seems like he's going to be another one where he's more cold and calculating.
Yeah.
Similar to Pagan, but not as flamboyant or jokey.
Mm-hmm.
Because Pagan could tell some jokes.
So, yeah, I don't know. The way that they set it up is it could definitely go where you come in contact with his kid and his kid kind of separates himself from his father and helps you out. That's kind of the vibe that I was getting, but it's also Far Cry, so who knows? The kid might follow in his father's footsteps.
End enemy.
Yeah. Yeah. So that was it for Ubisoft's first Forward.
Coming out February 18th, 2021.
Yeah. And I just will quickly say that with all the stuff going on in the gaming industry that we talked about in our last episode, Ubisoft actually announced that they had everything previously recorded and edited, so they said that they weren't going to address anything going on internally in their company as far as allegations and things like that. So they kept quiet about that. I mean, really, that's kind of not the focus of what happened today. We're just talking about games, baby. And
it was weird seeing the building for, was it Montreal? I think they showed with the level designer for Watch Dogs Legion.
Yeah.
It was very weird seeing that building after reading one of the articles in regards to allegations.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're not talking about that right now. We're talking about some games. Ubisoft definitely needs to work on some things, but this day is for the games.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of games, you play anything this week?
Oh God, what did I play? I played a little more of... I played a little more of Call of Cthulhu, but I also tried Shadow Warrior 2 from Devolver Digital Media. Yes, that's their full title.
Digital.
Yeah, there we go. Devolver Digital. And it's pretty fun, actually. I'm not sure if the guy's name is Wang or Wong, because usually when I'm watching a cutscene, sometimes I'll skip it if I'm just not invested. So I'm not sure how to pronounce his name. I just see everybody see W-A-N-G. I'm like, how do you pronounce that? Do you pronounce it
you just
correctly?
You skip the cutscene before they ever finish his name, so they're like, what? And it just cuts over, so you don't know how the ending of his name is.
Well, no, it's just
Yeah.
Wang, Wong. Does it interchange
Shadow
depending on
Warrior,
who's talking
man.
about it? Yeah, that guy that tries to be a ninja.
Yeah.
What about you? What games have you been playing?
SpongeBob SquarePants. The king is back, baby. Rehydrated.
I've been trying to get into SpongeBob because I didn't play it when I was younger.
I have my GameCube version downstairs. I played it when I was a kid. I actually got into an awkward conversation. I went to Walmart with my friend and I bought it, and then we were sitting down, probably waiting for my mom because I was in like 7th grade, and some kid came up to us and was like, "You got a game? What kind of game you got?" And I was like, "SpongeBob SquarePants, Battle for Bikini Bottom." And he was like, "Why would you buy that?" And I was like, "I like SpongeBob." And then he was like, "Okay." And
because I like SpongeBob.
It's a fantastic platformer. I love it. It actually makes me want to go back and rewatch the show because it's a funny game and it's a funny show. I mean, the game's really not that funny. It's kind of more like a exhale through your nose type thing, but it made me reminisce about the show. Lots of Easter eggs and stuff.
When I tried to play it, it just made me want to play Banjo-Kazooie and Jak and Daxter.
Yeah, it's a collectathon. Yeah, but that's all I've been doing. I had a pretty busy week, so not many opportunities to play other things. So yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah, so before we go, let's do a quick shout out to all of the people who are liking our Facebook page. We got some new people on there. Facebook and Instagram. Twitter we should focus a little more on. We don't really post there, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. Thanks for everyone for following us. If you haven't followed us yet, please give us a look up, type it in whatever you do.
Yeah, tell your friends, leave a rating, share what we post, listen, I don't know, wherever you listen to, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or whatever.
Yeah, on Facebook and Instagram, we are just Till Death Do We Play. On Twitter, we are TDDWP Podcast. And yeah, if you'd like to leave us a rating on iTunes, that would be fantastic. That's about it, right? Nothing else?
Yeah, I'd say so.
Okay, let's wrap it up for this week. A little short one, but we had a short press conference, so yeah, fitting. All right. I guess we'll see you next week with whatever we come up with.
See you then.
Bye-bye.
Bye.